Okay, we're going to call the Public Safety Committee to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Boyd,
He's excused.
Alderwoman Howard,
She's here somewhere.
Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderman Muhammad, Alderwoman Boyd.
Hey, I'm here.
Muhammad, got it. Alderwoman Boyd,
Present.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Here.
Chairman Vaccaro,
Present.
President Reed.
Here.
Alderwoman,
I'm here. I'm sorry,
Got it.
this is Alderwoman
Thank you.
Howard. Okay.
6 present, you have quorum.
Okay, so we're going to start off. We're going to get approval of the minutes from the October 8th meeting. Does everybody kind of look that over?
I move for approval of the minutes.
Okay, and I'll second it if nobody else will. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Boyd, Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderman Muhammad,
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
Chairman Vaccaro,
Aye.
President Reed.
Aye.
6 aye votes.
Okay, so we if anybody's on here for Board Bill 141, that's going to be held Tuesday at 10 o'clock. My apologies, I did not get it to the clerk in a timely manner. So what we're going to bring up today is Board Bill 114. And I would also say, Alderman Muhammad, if you're there, in case I'm at the doctor's office, so if they would call me in, I would say Alderman Muhammad would take over the meeting. He's a co-sponsor of this, and I think he's very capable. Vice Chair couldn't be here. So President Reed, you want to go ahead and present
Yes.
the board bill?
Yes, absolutely. First, I want to thank the chairman and all the members of the committee for giving me an opportunity to talk to you about Board Bill 114. And also thank, I believe it's Lisa from Crime Stoppers who's joined us today also, to talk about the board bill. I don't think it's any secret to anybody on this committee, the issues we've had with violent crime, not in our city, not just this year, but on an ongoing basis. Violent crime is the number one emergency that the city is facing and has been facing for a number of years. Matter of fact, I've said that, we're dealing with COVID crisis and the COVID-19 virus right now, but the original healthcare crisis facing the city was indeed and still remains violent crime in our city. We've seen more shootings and more murders and homicides of young people than we saw in the prior year. And last year, it was so bad that we made national news and in some cases global news as to the number of kids that were shot and killed in the city of St. Louis. It may come as a surprise to some people that our closure rate, and that's the rate at which we get to the bottom of some of these homicides and move on to successful prosecution, is we only average about a 30% closure rate on an ongoing basis, which means that 70% of the people who have shot and killed people within the city of St. Louis technically are still walking the streets. And that's problematic. And if you talk to the courts, or if you talk to any of the prosecutors, you talk to anyone that's or the police, anybody in law enforcement, anybody that's in that chain, they state very clearly that the biggest challenge is getting people to come forward and getting people to participate and give the information that they know. So other cities across the country, what they've done to address this issue is to increase the reward funds and also advertise the reward funds in a much greater way, so that it's well known all throughout the community, from people who live within the community, that indeed the rewards are available and what that reward is, and that it can be done anonymously. So more recently, in Kansas City increased their reward fund to $25,000, I believe, for homicides. And I believe Lisa's going to talk to this a little bit. But they modeled that after what was happening in Omaha, Nebraska. So Omaha had a 60% clearance rate, right? And remember, I told you ours are 30. Theirs was twice the rate. They had a 60% clearance rate, and they thought that that was outrageous. So they increased their reward fund to $25,000. And now the city has better than a 90% clearance rate on homicides in their city, right? And in the case of Kansas City, they talk about the number of tips that they received prior to increasing their reward amount, and after increasing their reward amount, they saw just a huge spike in the number of tips that came in, and that gave them information to increase their clearance rate and to address some of the issues of violent crime in their city. I also want to thank a lot of the committee members. Each and every one of you have taken bold steps in the last couple of years to begin to chip away at these, this violent crime in our city. We put funds in place for Cure Violence. It's unfortunate that it's taken this long for the administration to actually get that footprint in place, right? And we've addressed issues of unlawful firearms within the city, right? So this is just another thing to address some of the issues of violent crime in our city. And once all these things are up and operational, unless St. Louis is somehow so unique that it defies what has happened and the steps that other metropolitan areas have taken, not just across this nation, but domestically and internationally, to address the issues of violent crime. And I think that some of these things are a long time coming, but we need to get them done. And this is another step and another thing that will help us address this issue of violent crime and to begin to close some of these open cases. Again, our number is roughly 30% of cases that we close on an annual basis, which means 70% of them are left on an ongoing basis year over year. Cities that see 60% closure rate think that they are taking bold steps to transition out of that, and they've seen the change in the closure rate. Like I said, Omaha, Nebraska went from 60% to over 90% closure rate, clearance rate in homicides. And Mr. Chairman, I could, if you would indulge me, I'd like to, before we begin questions, I would like to see if we can have Lisa from Crime Stoppers. I think you're muted.
I'm on my, the bad part is I'm on my phone.
Okay,
And I
I can
know a
call.
couple of members, no, I'm good. And a couple of members ask me questions, but I can't really answer and be on this at the same time. But I'm unmuted. And you say it's Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa.
Lisa, yeah, go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry, I apologize.
I'm supposed to be listening and reporting to my board. What kind of information are you needing from me?
Nothing, you just want to speak on it a little bit?
On what, Crime Stoppers, or what your guys are doing?
On Crime Stoppers. So don't worry about it, Lisa. I thought maybe the board members who had you come on would have debriefed you. So I'll speak to the piece that they spoke to related to Crime Stopper. So I've had conversations with a couple of the board members from Crime Stoppers about being able to use that apparatus, right? And the way they told me it would work is that they would set up a separate account, right? And then the city funds that would be used to augment the funds that are currently within Crime Stoppers would go into that separate account just for the city of St. Louis, right? So it would not go to any of the metropolitan area because, as you know, Crime Stoppers represents the entire metropolitan area. And the way Crime Stoppers operate is that it is a completely anonymous. So when people call into either the tip hotline or other ways to give information to Crime Stoppers, right, they're given a code, right? So their phone number isn't tracked, no contact information, IP addresses, none of those things that would lead back to the person who left the tip. They're given a code, and then they can call back in or reach back out to Crime Stoppers to check to see if the information they left has led to the arrest of anyone, right? And if indeed they have, that code will be used to communicate back to them so that then they can go to a bank to collect the reward, right? So it's completely, absolutely anonymous. But one of the bigger challenges is that we need to make sure that people are aware of what the reward is. They are completely aware of the fact that it is completely anonymous and the process for giving those tips. So part of this bill, and you'll see it in some of the amendments that we're bringing up, will work with City TV 10. Sorry about that, STL TV. I'm still on STL TV 10. But it will work with STL TV so that STL TV could be the apparatus to help with the creation of either radio ads, social media ads, or any television ads, anything like that we would use, and help to place those ads. So STL TV will play a big role in the information rollout.
So what I think we can do, I think we got a fairly good understanding. Of course, I want to try to be in this for the whole meeting. I know there are amendments to the bill.
Yes.
So what I guess we would need is
Want me to have Tom?
Yeah, Tom, if you can go through the amendments, and then we'll need a motion.
Can we make the motion to bring the bill in front of us so we can amend it?
Yes, well, I thought it was in front of us anyway, but Board Bill 114 is in front of us. It's not as amended, but it's in front of us.
No,
so we're going to make.
We didn't make a motion to put it in front of us.
I make a motion to put Board Bill 114 in front of the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Oh, no. Hey, Joe, don't
Yes.
call the roll right now. We just need it in front of us. Now we need Tom to go through the amendments, and then we adopt the amendments to it. And then at the end of that, then we would vote for it.
Okay, that's fine. Then
Okay.
it's a little different than I guess I was used to. Tom, you want to go ahead with amendment number 1?
Sure. Amendment number 1 is really just cleanup of the original language and the way the board bill was written. The original board bill just used the term murder in St. Louis, and this amendment just cleans it up to specify murder in the city of St. Louis.
And so that's on change.
board, but I just wanted to make that provide that clarity in the board bill.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So there's 4 sections where the phrase murder in St. Louis was used, and this amendment changes that phrase in those 4 sections to murder in the city of St. Louis.
And Mr. Chairman, if you would like me to make the formal motion for the amendment, I'll do that now.
That would be great because, like I
All right.
said, I'm a little distracted.
All right, I move that we adopt amendment number 1 to board bill number 114 to amend said board bill page 1, line 6 to page 3, line 1 as follows. Beginning on page 1, line 6, strike out the words murder in St. Louis and insert in line thereof to read in word and figures as follows: murder in the city of St. Louis.
Second.
And beginning on page 2, the same thing, murder in the city of St. Louis. Beginning on page 2, line 5 and line 20, murder in St. Louis, and insert the words murder in the city of St. Louis. Beginning on page 3, line 1, strike out the words murder in St. Louis and insert the words murder in the city of St. Louis.
So we just need a motion to adopt that then, I would assume.
Yep, and the vice chair seconded the motion.
Okay.
Previous roll.
There are no objection to previous roll. Let's move on to the next amendment.
Okay.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons that we're going through Crime Stoppers is that they have a phenomenal system to keep the tipsters anonymous. And what Amendment 2 does, it adds some language beginning on page 2, line 17. And this is section 2 deals with the reporting and the public safety director making a report to the Board of Alderman, Public Safety Committee on the status of the funds on a biannual basis. But this just adds language after at the end of line 17 on page 2 that states no report provided pursuant to this section shall contain any information related to a particular arrest or particular information provided. So we just want to, just make it crystal clear that at no point are we going to be requesting any information about a particular arrest or a particular award amount given or who got the award, the reward rather, or who made the tip or anything like that.
Okay, Mr. President, you want to go ahead then?
Yes, and on my when I made my previous motion, you asked about the if the motion was made. I had made the motion, and the alderman from the 21st had said second.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. Amendment number 2 to board bill number 114. I move that we adopt amendment number 2 to board bill number 114 to amend said board bill page 2, line 17 to page 2, line 17 as follows. Beginning on page 2, line 17, after the words Board of Aldermen, insert the following. No report provided pursuant to this section shall contain any information related to a particular arrest or particular information provided.
Second.
So are you making the motion, Mr. President?
Yes, and
And
Alderman
seconded by,
21st seconded it.
okay. So, do we have a call for previous roll on this motion?
Previous roll.
Okay, okay, hearing no objection to previous roll, let's move on to the next amendment.
Okay, Amendment 3 deals with some particulars of the administration of the fund, the monies in the fund, and the marketing of the fund and public awareness, as President Reed has discussed. So I'll read it. Amendment number 3 to Board Bill number 114 to amend said Board Bill page 3, line 3 to page 3, line 3 as follows. So beginning on page 3, line 3, we're strike out the words section 4 emergency clause, because we're adding 2 new sections and it'll become a new section number. So we're striking out section 4 emergency clause and inserting in lieu thereof to read in words and figures as follows. Section 4, administration of fund. A separate fund strictly for rewards for murders in the city of St. Louis will be established within the St. Louis Regional Crime Commission for tips received via the Crime Stoppers Anonymous Crime Tip Hotline, with reward amounts as outlined in Section 3 of this ordinance. The Justice for St. Louis Families Funds will distribute award amounts as outlined in Section 3 of this ordinance to the St. Louis Regional Crime Commission to award anonymous tipsters when arrests are made for the crime of murder in the city of St. Louis. Section 5, marketing of fund and public awareness. The Communication Division of the City of St. Louis is directed to produce video and audio marketing materials and secure media buys on behalf of the City of St. Louis in order to make the public aware of the reward fund and provide a platform to make the public aware of each murder in the City of St. Louis. Any costs associated with activities of the Communication Division as directed by this ordinance shall be funded by the Justice for St. Louis Families Fund. And then it's Section 6, emergency clause, because and then it'll follow from there with the emergency clause language as originally in the bill.
Mr. President, you want to make the motion?
Yeah, I move that we adopt amendment number 3 to Board Bill number 114 as outlined by as previously outlined by Thomas Shepard.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Any for previous roll?
Request for previous roll.
Okay. Hearing no objection to previous roll, then what we need to, that's the end of the amendments, right?
Yes.
So what we need to put in front of us then is Board Bill 114 as amended. I'd like to motion that we put that in front of us for discussion. Could I have a
So
second?
moved. So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so what we're going to do, let me go down, and again, it's going to be Alderwoman Howard, you're first. Any discussion on?
I just
Board
would
Bill?
like to know now, will this $2 million go to Crime Stoppers and they'll hold this money? And then where is the money coming from?
No, it's not like that. What we would fund on an as needed basis, right? So if we do not get any tips or anything, then the outlay for the city would just be any of the marketing costs that we absorb by having STL TV market this, right? So, but the good thing is that if we indeed get tips, just like the other cities have experienced, that lead to successful prosecution, we will be creating a safer city all around. But the funds would go to a special fund within Crime Stoppers. That's the idea right now. That's what's in the bill right now. So any funds that we allocate, let's say we allocate $100,000 or whatever, that $100,000 would go into a special fund that would be created by Crime Stoppers just for the city of St. Louis.
So where's the money coming from?
Right now, we have it coming from the Emergency Reserve Fund, which is, when you think about it, I can't think of any bigger emergency that the city is facing right now. This is it's crazy, the number of murders that we see and the violent weekends that we see. But you have people that are walking around with absolute impunity right now. They feel, they don't feel like they will ever have to pay for the crimes that they're committing.
Well, I agree, and I don't know, but I wish I could say this would do it, but I don't know. But anyway, it's worth a try. So, okay. And so they're going to hold the $2 million Crime Stoppers is?
No, we wouldn't. I don't
clear.
envision us. We would not send over $2 million lump sum to Crime Stoppers, right? We would fund this thing on an ongoing basis. There'll be a small seed fund that we put out in the beginning. We've been in conversations with STL TV, so there's we would send over $100,000 to STL TV to begin everything that they need to do, and then we would work out with Crime Stoppers a small seed fund that would be authorized through the Board of E&A to fund just that first go round, but it wouldn't be a $2 million outlay. But if we ultimately spent $2 million, that would be a wonderful thing, because that would mean that we have closed a massive amount of open cases in the city of St. Louis and created a safer city for families all across the city.
Yeah, I get that, but I guess what I'm saying is that are they, they'll be collecting interest on this, and how much?
No, we're not. Again, we're not going to send $2 million
over.
No, we wouldn't send.
You're going to send over seed money, so maybe like 20,000, 30, 40, 50,000. I mean, I just kind of
or 100,000, right? It may be something like that, but it would not be. It wouldn't be anywhere close to a $2 million check that we would cut them, right? And that's part of what the board of directors will be determining when they meet to take up the issue.
So actually, we're kind of writing a check here for $2 million for something that is unspecified, I guess.
No, we're not writing a check. We're not writing a check for $2 million. We're not giving anybody $2 million a day. What we're doing is authorizing the use of funds, right? And as on an ongoing basis, as E&A would need to, E&A then would send over funds to Crime Stoppers as we got in tips that led to successful prosecution and that was used in the court cases, right? Then then
so E&A would have purview over this.
Yes. E&A would.
So E&A would have supervision over this.
Yes, because the Board of Aldermen, we are authorizing, that cap of $2 million, right? And then on an ongoing basis, let's say we put in, $50,000 or $100,000 to Crime Stoppers, and that 100,000 would remain in Crime Stoppers until we've used it up through tips that came in because of the program to Crime Stoppers, right? And when Crime Stoppers would exhaust that fund, Crime Stoppers.
You're breaking up.
Let me see. Yeah. Carol is frozen now. Oh, there you go. You still there, Carol? Alderwoman Howard?
Yeah, I'm still here, but you're really garbled. Your reception
see
is
if
poor.
I
I don't know
can-
if it's just me or if it's from everybody. I don't know.
Let me see if I can get a better connection. All right, is that better? Hold on one second.
You're unfrozen now.
Yeah, let me quit some of these. Let me get some of this these background processes from going. Maybe that'll help.
That's all the questions I have, though.
All right, thanks, Alderwoman.
Okay. And Alderwoman Tamika Hubbard asked to be excused. So we'll go down the list here to Alderman John Muhammad. John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. President, for sponsoring this important piece of legislation in terms of stopping crime and getting people to come forward. I cannot think of anything else that we can do besides this legislation here. We have seen the data that it worked in other cities with similar crime statistics, so I'm excited that we're doing the same thing here in the city of St. Louis. I'm proud to be a co-sponsor to this legislation, and I look forward to the committee voting this out, and I look forward to the Board of Aldermen voting this out. But this is probably the most productive thing that we could do, especially since the passing of care violence. So thank you for your leadership on this, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you all.
And my name actually was supposed to be on it too. Let me move on down the list here. Alderwoman P.M. Boyd. Alderwoman, you're
There you go.
Howard, I have no questions. And thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, thank you.
Alderwoman Shameem Clark Hubbard.
No question. Thank you.
Then I would like to make a motion, just because I want to move things along, but I would like to make a motion that we pass Board Bill 114 out as amended with a do pass recommendation.
Too late there.
So moved.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and previous roll, anybody have a problem with previous roll?
Previous roll.
Okay, seeing no objection to previous roll, we passed out Board Bill 114 as amended. Again, please add my name, and if anybody else wants their name added, please let the president know.
All right, thank you all. Thank you so much for your support and all the work that you guys are doing on this committee to address some of the issues of crime and public safety in the city. I really appreciate all the work that you all are doing. And thank you for your support again on this one today.
If nobody else has any other business, then we'll look for someone to move to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, and I'm good with that. So we're going to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
We're gonna-
Alderman from 21st.
He seconded it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good.
Aye.
Aye.
So we'll be back on Tuesday at 10 o'clock on Board Bill 141. So anyway, thank you all, and we're adjourned.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good day.